The fourth and final nutrition lesson at Camp Kayana is about eating out. Although we understand that it's usually a healthier option to prepare foods at home, because then you can look at the nutrition facts. You can be sure to include whole foods like fruits and vegetables that are washed really well, and cook things like lean proteins, grains or carbs in healthy ways, and always include your dairy. It is a reality for most of us that sometimes we will eat away from home. We'll eat out at restaurants or maybe even fast food places. So how do we help campers learn to minimize the damage or make some of the healthiest possible options when eating at these restaurants? The first step is to consider the nutritional information and plan ahead before you find yourself in this situation at a drive-through or ordering at a restaurant when it's hard to better understand what the details of the calories and the food contents are. So we'll read nutrition information ahead of time and look at those things. What are the caloric details? How many calories are included in each component of this meal? We'll look at and identify the contents of different food options. Is there a protein, which we know we need to help our body function properly day to day? Is there grains or some carbs that are going to help me feel full? What about a fruit or a vegetable? Am I getting some minerals from this meal? And have I met my daily calcium needs by getting some dairy product? We might reflect on past experiences with various foods. We maybe have all had the experience of eating at a restaurant and getting just a huge portion, then leaving feeling a little uncomfortably full. Or we might have even had the experience of eating a really tasty food in the moment, but later on having quite a tummy ache or feeling like your energy was affected later on in the day or the next day. Remember those experiences because they can help us make decisions later in the future. And sometimes it's hard to remember when the consequences of that food happen several hours later when you were going to the bathroom. But it's important to remember that those foods do affect your body and sometimes not in the best way. So we might want to avoid some of those situations as we make decisions about eating out in the future. Here are a few tips for choosing healthier options when eating out. Find the foods with the best quality. You want to include all the food groups, and be sure that there's at least a protein or a few fruits and vegetables included in your meal. We'll also think about quantity. How much food are you going to get within a certain caloric range? You might find that if you choose a salad rather than a cheeseburger, you'll get a much larger portion for fewer calories, and you'll also have more fruits and vegetables or minerals included in your meal. Campers will get to practice both in their nutrition lesson as well as with a little bit of real-world experience, probably on Thursday evening. They'll be asked to choose a meal by keeping their calories under 500 calories for the meal. This can be difficult, but it is possible, even at places like McDonald's or Jack in the Box, Subway, Wendy's, Taco Bell, or Papa John's, or even the place that we love here in Texas, Whataburger. So how can camp counselors help campers make decisions about eating out, both with this practice and in thinking about future situations where campers might be eating away from home with their families or stuck in a situation where they need to eat fast food because that's what's available or easy. Recall what you've talked about with each different food type, and remember that some foods help us fill up easier. Some foods help us feel better for the long term, versus some foods might taste good or offer us a quick burst of energy, but affect us long term in a more negative way. You can ask campers to identify which types of foods they're planning to order. Does your meal include some protein? Which fruits and vegetables are going to come with your meal? What are the grains or carbohydrates that you'll have with this meal? Is there any dairy included? Have you met your calcium goal for today? You can ask or encourage campers to think about the quantity of portions that they're going to get. How much of the food are you going to get while staying within your calorie limit for the dining out meal? You can use examples or talk about how, for example, a small order of fries versus a cup of fruit or apple slices, what nutrients those meals or food items include, and how many calories each of those options is going to have. You can help campers remember that making the healthiest available choice when eating out usually isn't easy, but it is a skill. And remember, as we're thinking about this experience for campers, eating out or eating at a fast food restaurant as part of camp is not intended to be a reward. It's really meant as a learning experience to build skills for eating as healthy as possible while away from home.